4 o'clock. Good afternoon, everybody. This is the May 14th, 2026 meeting of the Washoe County School District Audit Committee meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order at 4 p.m. Roll call, please.
Ben Bartow. Wesley Chugilern.
Here.
Todd Shipley.
Here.
Ronald Ellis.
Here.
Jennifer Thomas.
Here.
Vida Ozude.
Here.
Nicole Lohr.
Present.
Okay. Madam Secretary, do we have a quorum? All right.
We have a quorum.
On to 2.01, approval of the minutes of the February 12, 2026 meeting of the Audit Committee. I'm going to recuse myself from voting because I was not here during that meeting. So, any discussion on the matter? Discussion changes? Can I get a motion to approve?
I, Todd Shipley, move that the Audit Committee approve the minutes of the February 12th, 2026 Audit Committee meeting.
Okay. Second?
I, Jennifer Thomas, second.
Okay. Okay, is there any public comment on the matter?
There's no public comment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Any opposed? There being none, motion passes. Item 2.02, this is informational. I'll turn it over to Mr. Starkey. Introduction of the new Internal Audit Department employee.
Good afternoon, Chairman Ellis and members of the committee. Kirk Starkey for the record. We have a new member of our team that I wanted to introduce to you. Please welcome Shannon Ozier. She is a great addition to the team, and we're lucky to have her. She's right there in the front row, and just want to thank her. Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome, Shannon. Yeah.
Can we ask her to give us a little bit of her background or not? Okay, we'll move right on to.
I'm just going to note that Ben is here at 4:02.
Okay. Next item is 2.03, presentation and possible action to forward the annual independence statement from the Chief Auditor to the Board of Trustees for their consideration and acceptance. Item.
Sorry, there's no public comment.
All right, Mr. Starkey.
Good afternoon. As you may be aware, our department operates under the standards of the Institute of Internal Auditors, the IIA. IIA Standard 7.1 requires me to confirm to the Board of Trustees annually the organizational independence of our activities and if there have been any impediments in our actions. As part of your packet, I submitted a report confirming that the structure of our department is organizationally independent, whereby we report directly to the Board of Trustees. This structure allows us to fulfill our responsibilities, and we have faced no impediments to carrying out our duties and are in fact been well supported by the board. This is an action item where we are seeking your approval to forward the statement to the Board of Trustees. Thank you, and I can address any questions you may have on this item.
Any discussion, questions, comments? Okay. Did I already ask for public comment on this? Any public comment on this? Okay, none. There being none, motion to forward it to the full school board.
I, Todd Shipley, move the Audit Committee forward the annual independence statement of the Chief Auditor to the Board of Trustees for consideration and acceptance.
Thank you. Second?
I, Wesley Chugilern, second the motion.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Aye. Motion passes. Okay, item 2.04, presentation to update the audit committee on the activities of the Washoe County School District Internal Audit Department to include projects for 2020, for the 2026 Washoe County School District Internal Audit Department Plan, and possible action to forward the April 2026 Desert Skies Middle School Student Activity Fund audit to the Board of Trustees for their consideration and acceptance. Okay, is there any public comment on this agenda item?
There's no public comment.
All right. Mr. Starkey, you have the floor.
Thank you. Kirk Starkey for the record. As you're aware, this is our standard agenda item where we provide an update on the activities of our department since we've last met and as we work through this audit plan. Basically, I'll just go top down from that attachment. Our charter school work has been completed, and we're currently working on a follow-up to our previous report that we issued about a year or so ago on DeMonte Ranch High School. We just started that. We plan to have that to you, though, at our next meeting. We should have that completed. We have 2 projects that we will also be working on here shortly, the McQueen High School, which is also a follow-up, and the O'Brien Middle School will start sometime after this meeting and between the next meeting. Additionally, we've been working through several other larger scope hotline complaint matters, but I'll summarize those and address those in a later agenda item, along with a couple of reviews that are noted towards the bottom of this status sheet involving Reed High School and Spanish Springs High School. We should have the Reed High School matter completed, and I'll address that one at our next meeting as well and give you a heads up on that. For this meeting, we're issuing the results of our recent Desert Skies Middle School audit, which is included as part of your packet. This is a newer school. It just opened around 2020, and the audit was requested by the principal. A key takeaway, basically the biggest takeaway from this audit, is that we were unable to substantiate the cash receipts for several months during the audit period due to insufficient supporting documentations and what appeared to be some arbitrary adjustments that were made to reconcile the accounting records to bank activity. But based upon discussions during our field work and especially at the exit conference, we expect these issues to be corrected promptly. Additionally, this audit report was also distributed to the area superintendent, who's represented they will work closely with the school to get these deficiencies corrected as well. Further, we distributed the report to the business office, and they offered that the report will help in their future training activities as they move on in increased training with the principals, the bookkeepers, and the secretaries throughout the districts. But to ensure such, we plan to perform a follow-up on this item as well. Probably it will be after this calendar year is concluded, so at the start of next calendar year, we plan to be in the field on this one to follow up. And thank you on this, and Matt and I would be happy to address any questions you may have.
Vito Zude for the record. I'm not really sure if I have questions or just want to make some comments.
Okay.
If you look at page 6 and 7, you guys have several recommendations on page 6. And the management response, I couldn't understand it. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Then if you look at page 9, it's the same kind of response. So can somebody kind of tell them that, just stating what they are stating is not good enough for a response on those recommendations?
Kirk Starkey for the record. Your point is well taken. We kind of had the same discussions in our office when we received them as well. The thing is with the, how do I say this? Without speaking for her, when we were at the meeting, she understood the items and how to make the corrections. I think the responses were just due to, there was a very compressed time frame. We needed responses from her so we could get this on the agenda. That's the best. I don't think, she wasn't trying to be dismissive. I know that, but I think your point is well taken, but I think they will be addressed properly.
Thank you.
I've got a question.
Please.
On the restricted funds and staff expenses, isn't there county rules about what expenditures are supposed to be? I mean, I'm surprised that this is there, that they were spending things on inappropriate items.
Kirk Starkey for the record, and Matt can help me out if I get this one wrong, but I think this item, what happens is in this case, there's a fundraising activity that goes on, and in this case, I don't think they announced to the public properly what the funds were going to be used for. What we want to see is if you're going to do fundraising activities, let the public know that, hey, let's say 60 cents on the dollar is going to go to a staff Christmas party or something, so the public knows. In this case, they did not know, and they expended the expenditures in that manner. That was kind of the biggest, is the lack of disclosure to the public on what happened. That's.
I have a couple of questions, if it's okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay, go right ahead.
Sorry, were you speaking? I couldn't hear you. I apologize.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, go right ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, so it sounds like this principal requested this audit. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So I commend her for that. This is just an observation. It seems like every year you guys are required to do an audit of the charters. It's probably stated in statute or regulation, I'm guessing.
Correct.
Okay. It seems like, and I feel like I always create this problem, but if it seems like there would be a benefit to our schools getting looked at, even if it's like once a decade, because these kinds of issues, I mean, there's a lot of issues, and this principal, to her credit, requested an audit. And I commend any principal who comes into a new management position and wants an audit done so they can get their house in order. But is there anything stating that like each school must be audited so many years?
Kirk Starkey for the record, it's a great question. No, there is not. The only statement is there is a board policy that we must audit the records of the schools. And it's just, that's kind of as far as it goes. It's very general. So it allows a lot of leeway. But your point with the charter schools is well taken. We do the charter schools annually, and we do our schools kind of with the time we have left on during the course of the year is the best I can answer that.
Yeah, and I understand it. There's a time and resource problem. I'm fully aware. I just think that, and I would hate to create more work. I just think it would probably benefit our Nevada schools, our Washoe County schools, if they were looked at least once a decade. Because I could just imagine the things that are perhaps going on at other schools with the principal who is not as proactive. So that's just an observation. I do have a question pertaining to, on page 28 of the audit, there's an entry that says house. $17,865. Do you know what that line item is for?
Page 28?
28, yeah.
28.
Oh. Sorry, Nicole. Okay.
Page 28 under the finding.
I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Matt McMahon real quick.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Hey, Matt McMahon, internal auditor for the record. The house account right there represents fees collected.
I can't hear him.
Can you hear me now? Oh, there we go.
Yes, I can.
Matt McMahon, internal auditor for the record. That house account 1950 represents the school-wide account that's collecting fees at the beginning of the year.
Okay, so it's a school-wide account that is just named house. Okay, I just want to make sure we're not buying houses or something to that effect. Okay. And then my last comment, and I will stop, is that I share. The whole reason I joined the audit committee is because I share the concerns. I personally have a concern about one of the schools my children is attending. Lots of fundraisers up the wazoo, and then the teacher will turn around and go, "Can anybody donate money for a pencil sharpener?" And so I very much appreciate and would also like some kind of a statement saying, look, we're doing this fun run and X percentage of proceeds will go towards Y. Or something even, it may be the crazy accountant in me, but I would even prefer X proceeds actually go to the school, because some of these fundraisers, the proceeds that actually make their way to the school is very small. I would just appreciate more transparency, and that's all that I have as a comment.
Kirk Starkey, for the record. No, it's a great comment, and we get it. Our office hears about it a lot, to be honest with you, and that's why we try to pass along to the schools to make it very clear in the flyers or any sort of communications that go out to the parents. Also, these reports that find their way to the accounting department when they do, the staff that do the training, they're going to implement that and focus on it as well, because it would help reduce issues and questions. And then also parents can make the decision if they see something on a flyer where an activity is 90% to donuts and parties instead of to the school, they can make a choice whether they want to contribute or not. So you had a good question.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else with comments or questions? Okay, I'm going to start in with mine. So on the executive summary, you know, the first question that I have when I see just like the summary, are there any segregation of duties issues between who's collecting the funds and who's dispersing?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Are there any segregation of duties issues between who is collecting funds and who is dispersing the funds? In the overall audit, are there areas where the same person is collecting and dispersing?
There were issues with the third approval, as you'll see in later in the report. There is a portion talking about lack of third approval. And so that would be related to the segregation of duties all the way through the process. But as far as intake of funds, it was to the administrative secretary who acts as the bookkeeper.
Okay, so she's taking in the money and she's accountable for the books.
Correct.
Okay. Would that be a segregation of duties issue in your opinion or in your opinion?
Kirk Starkey, for the record, that was part of the reasoning for the principal is requesting the audit.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And it kind of proved itself out during the report. It became, in this case, we have at this school, a secretary acting in the function as secretary and bookkeeper. And in my opinion, would probably had a lot of work coming her way. So
Yeah.
to answer your question, yes.
Okay. Thank you. And then my second comment is and this is just a comment, a qualified opinion is never a favorable thing. I mean, that means that there were some obvious problems that rise above the mundane errors that you would encounter. And then when we get into, you know, I underlined some of the things that have already been talked about. Insufficient source documents, that's a red flag for me. You have segregation of duties, and then you have insufficient source documents and activity, which reflect arbitrary adjustments to reconcile the accounting records to bank activities. If I saw that in my area, there would be an investigation, and it would probably be geared more towards the criminal. We might get law enforcement involved, but that's just a comment. Funds turned in not accompanied by cash count slips. Inform teachers and staff about cash collection requirements outlined by the student activity funds. I'm on report page 6, master page 15 of 52. My question with that, is there any acknowledgement by teachers or any of these individuals during their training that they received training, that they understand the policies, they understand the law?
Kirk Starkey, for the record, for these activities, there would not be, I don't believe teachers would go to to the training sections, but the principals, bookkeepers, and secretaries do, and they would, there are evidence of them attaining the training. Then it becomes their job to train their staff when they're back at the school.
Gotcha. And then, similar to the other comment, some of the responses, wasn't sure if the response on page 7, master page 7, report page 7, master page 16, effective fees are collected at the beginning of the school during Scorpion Day. Semester fees are collected in the office with the secretary individually or from the student. And in reading the finding, it didn't seem like, okay, so what's the corrective action? Or is that just kind of like, this is what we're doing and that's the way it's going to be?
Kirk Starkey, for the record, you're right, it reads that way. Unfortunately, it's how it came across when it was presented to us, when we were given the responses.
Yeah.
It's not generally effective or a proper response, but I think if I speak for her, is when she was incorporating what we had already spoke about in detail during the exit conference, and was just kind of given, I think, in this response, just as a shorter update from those meetings.
I will note that in some of the later responses, they did seem to be more of the corrective nature. Source documents missing, that's just a comment, some of the things I circled. So for example, a good response, new secretary has been trained and is aware of the procedure. They said are aware of the procedure, but I think there's a typo there. Management, new secretary has been trained and are aware of the procedure, and aware of procedure, okay. Very good. On master page 16, funds were accounted for, but they had funds that were just like sitting in the office over the weekend, and they didn't follow policy. 28,000 sitting in the office. My question is, which account was that? The 28,000?
That 28,000 represents all of the funds that they had on hand. That was not one account. That was funds prepared for deposit.
Oh, okay, so that was a deposit amount. Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry, was that 28,000 in cash on hand?
That figure does not represent cash specifically, but that was the funds prepared for deposit. So it could be cash, could be checks, could be coin, currency.
Okay, report page 18, master page 27. Can you just give us like a little overview of this finding? It's the one, funds which were not restricted for staff expenses were used for staff expenses. I think this has been an ongoing concern for anybody who's had kids in the school district and the teachers send out, give us $100.
My apologies. Can you repeat which page we're referencing?
It's report page 18, master page 27.
Sure thing. So this finding pertains specifically to how the staff expenses that we found were sourced. And so that cash flow we determined was attributed to funds which were not restricted specifically for staff expenses. So one of the examples is the fundraiser proceeds aforementioned.
Okay.
That was not clearly advertised, promoted, communicated to the parents that this portion, this amount would be spent likewise.
And that would be the same for the discussion on page 19. That's a continuation where they spend $4,009 for staff jackets.
Correct.
Okay.
And that would be sourced from prior year proceeds.
Okay. Are these the same people making all these expenditures?
I can't speak to the advisors who were involved with
Okay.
each disbursement requested, but it was the same principal at this time.
Okay, but that's not the principal that requested the audit?
Same principal.
Same principal, okay. Uh, 4950 on page 20, no itemization included, purchase details are indeterminable. That's a problem. You don't have to comment on that. I'm just going to comment that's problematic. And that was from 2023. I guess on page 25, that's pretty self-explanatory. When I look at the expenditures, payments made directly from student activity funds to businesses for service rendered. Okay, but they had receipts. But these were obviously through checks. Some of them look like personal checks. Bubbly Waffle Hub. What was the nature of the activity that they were making the expenditures for? That's
So-
page 25, report page 25.
So those last 5 are related to food trucks that they brought onto premise, on
Okay,
site.
okay.
And it's more related to that they were bringing vendors onto the school site location versus the
Okay.
nature of the purchase. But it was for food trucks as a reward for students.
And then R&M maintenance, what type of maintenance was that? That was a school check, I assume. Yeah, $13.89 or?
Correct.
Okay. Do we know what that maintenance expense was for $200?
I don't recall. I think it was equipment, PE
Okay.
equipment, a spin bike repair, I think is exactly what it was.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my comments, questions, and others. As we got later, like I had noted, many of the responses got better, talked about training the admin and the secretary on the appropriate procedures, so.
I have 2 quick comments.
Yes, sir.
I have 2 quick comments. Matt, some of these says expected completion dates. 2 of them was August 12, 2025, and this one was August 2025, on pages 12 and 9. So when did you guys get out of the field, or was this verified that they were completed?
Well, based on our testing, that training was, we did not verify the testing, to answer your question. No, we did not verify in August 2025 that was completed.
Okay,
The finding is only related to the audit period.
yeah, okay.
Is there any more discussion from anybody on this report? Okay. Any public comment on this report?
There's no public comment.
Okay. Then I would like to entertain a motion to forward it on to the school board of trustees for acceptance and for consideration and acceptance.
I, Vito Zidane, move that the audit committee forward the April 2026 Desert Skies Middle School Student Activity Fund audit to the Board of Trustees for their consideration and acceptance.
Second? Do I hear a second?
I, Todd Shipley, second the motion.
Okay, great. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, aye. Motion passes. Okay, item next. 2.05, presentation and discussion of report fraud, waste, and abuse hotline concerns and outcomes since the prior meeting, February 12th, 2026, of the Audit Committee for presentation and discussion only. I will still invite any public comments if there be any.
There's no public comment.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Starkey, you have the floor.
Thank you. Kirk Starkey for the record. As you're aware, our office administers the district's report fraud, waste, and abuse hotline program. And attached as part of your agenda packet is the worksheet that we use to compile the status of the complaints reported to our office since the last meeting. Since the last meeting in February, we've received 9 new cases. One of the cases we investigated and we found it to not have merit and it was closed. 3 of the cases we closed because the complaint received was just a statement or opinion only, so basically no case. 3 cases had to be closed because we were unable to obtain sufficient information after attempts to get it from the complainant, so we were unable to investigate any further. 1 other case was a report of a water leak at a school that had been corrected by the facilities department before we actually received the complaint. So this matter was closed basically before the matter went out. 1 other case was just recently received by us and it's considered open. It's the last one on the list. We'll get to that one, but we have not done anything with it. In addition, we closed 1 other old case that was from the prior period. It concerned the cheerleading program at Reed High School. We investigated and determined the complaint had merit as there was some overcharging for required participant uniform items, and we recommended reimbursement appropriately. Our report on that matter was submitted to the superintendent and the board. We're also working on 3 other open cases from that prior period. It's the top part of the spreadsheet there. 1 case involves P-card activity and has been essentially a mini audit, as you can imagine, but we plan to have that completed here in the next couple weeks, and we'll report out on that one at the next meeting. That leaves us with basically an open inventory of 4 cases currently at the moment that we'll continue to work on. Thank you. Any questions? No problem.
Any questions, comments? Okay. Well, that was a discussion item, so we'll just keep moving here. Thank you for your report, Kirk.
Thank you.
Mr. Starkey. And now, item 2.06 is for presentation and discussion only. That would be the presentation of the Audit Committee calendar for 2026.
Thank you, Kirk Starkey, for the record again. As you know, this is kind of our informational item with the preview of the upcoming meetings. The big takeaway is the next meeting will be for August 13th, and the other meeting dates are now included at the top part of that attachment. But I would like to mention during this time, this is Jennifer's last meeting with us. So on behalf of our department, the district as a whole, and everybody, Jennifer, thank you for serving on the committee. Many thanks, I appreciate it. You've been great, and if you ever want to come back to the committee, you're always welcome. So, but take care. And
I'll definitely let you know. Our youngest is graduating next year, so we're not quite sure what next holds for us. My husband's retiring next year too, so I thought I better just step back from this for now. But you may see me again in the future.
Sounds good, and congratulations to all of that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you all, everybody today for being here, and appreciate it.
Okay. Last agenda item, public comment.
There's no public comment.
Okay. And we don't need to read all this into the record. Okay, thank you. All right. Item 3.02, the announcement of the next meeting will be August 13th, 2026. That's that agenda item. And with that, unless there's any further comments, questions, objections, I am prepared to adjourn the meeting. Okay. At 4:34.
All right, well done. Thank you,
Great.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks,
Ben,
Jennifer. Good luck.
Ben,
Yes.
were you there on that? Did you vote on the minutes?
On the minutes,
Uh-huh. I just saw you popped up and I didn't know if you were here for the.
I jumped in. I don't think so. I jumped in right when you introduced the new staff member on internal
Okay,
audit. So
okay.
probably not.
No, that's good. Just to be clear. Thank you.
Sorry about that. See you guys.
Bye, thanks.
See you, Ben.